What's up guys, YST here and welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today, I'm going to start this video off with a very simple question. How many of you guys go into your clan boss on a daily basis and you're looking at one of your clanmates, right? Thinking, how on earth are you dealing so much damage in your composition? Well, that was a moment that I've been having for the past few weeks when my good friend and ISL clanmate in Notorious, a big shout out to you, was actually using this specific team with Deacon Armstrong, Demytha, Mashalled, Kreela the Witch Arm, and Turvold. And guys, he was exceeding over 200 million without a ninja. Now for me, on a personal basis, I've never seen that. But you guys can let me know in the comment section below if you've seen a non-ninja unkillable team exceed 200 million before. Now, what it kind of comes down to is not only an amazing team, but also the implementation of blessings, which is something I want to showcase today. And a big shout out to Notorious once again for allowing me to jump onto his account and showcase his specific team for you guys today. Now, it's also worth mentioning the first time that he's seen this team was from another creator called ENK, who does amazing work in the community. So I want to leave his videos and his channel in the pinned comment and in the description for you guys to go and drop a sub and check out his videos. And also I want to give a huge shout out to Scratch AK47, Pavo and Deadwood Jedi for also being innovative in this space for the clan boss. But alright, in terms of this team, it is endgame gear, it is endgame composition, and it only works on both the Void Affinity and the Force Affinity, but I'll leave a link in the description, which I'll speak about later on, about another team that you could use that's affinity friendly, using a kind of very similar team, I'd say, but different champions. But alright, let's get into the video. So we're going to start off here with Deacon Armstrong, and then we're going to break down everyone's kits, the kind of gear sets we're using, and all of that good stuff. We'll get into the clan boss run and see where we can take this. So alright, Deacon Armstrong, what does it come down to? What do you do, buddy? So on the A1, we've got a leech, which is really solid for not just Demon Lord clan boss, but also bosses in general. On the A3 ability with time compression, can fill the turn meters of all allies by 15% and decrease the turn meter, which we're not caring about in this specific team because you can't drop the turn meter of the Demon Lord. But we do care about the increasing of turn meter with the extra turn. So this right here is very vital, leading into this drop defense on the A2 to coincide with the weaken from Turvold. So that enables us to deal extra War Master damage from our champions and lead to a successful run. So we've got an aura here of 19%, which is solid, with the Phantom Touch Blessing, which has a chance of inflicting bonus damage to one enemy whenever this champion hits enemy targets, and the bonus damage is proportionate to this champion's attack. Now we also get a bonus attack here, which is really solid for base stats, and if you guys have the luxury of having higher star blessings, you'll start to see a higher return on your champions, right? In terms of gear, we've gone for the Toxic set, and that enables a 75% chance to place a 2.5% poison debuff to just deal as much damage as possible over time. We've got crit damage gauntlets, attack percent on the chest plate, and speed on the boots. Accuracy on the banner to place our debuffs, crit damage on the amulet, and attack on the ring. Overall stats here, we've gone 35,000 HP, 3.4k attack, 176 speed, so one of the slowest of the bunch, 70% crit rate, 213% crit damage, and 260 accuracy. Masteries on Deacon. Let me just fly over here. There we go. We're heading down to War Master to deal extra damage, and the support tree heading down to the Sniper. Now it's worth mentioning the Steadfast Mastery, because we do not want our Deacon Armstrong to be mitigated from the stun turn, alright? So if all buffs are aligned in a perfect scenario like this team, then the clan boss will actually look at Steadfast as an extra buff, which will kind of make him deter that hit to somebody else, in this case, our DPS champion in Turvold. So this one here is really crucial in this specific team, but it's not needed for all teams. I just kind of want to clarify that. But in unkillable teams, definitely works out really, really cool for your DPS champions. So that was Deacon Armstrong, and let's head into Demytha. Now, she's going to be the fastest of the bunch, okay? And basically what it comes down to, an A1, which can attack twice, so really good for War Master damage. We've got a Light of Deep on the A2, which can increase the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn, but then decreases the duration of all ally debuffs by 1 turn. Now this is crucial because now this team is only working on Force and Void Affinity. This allows us to strip the stun off our Turvold and maximize our damage. And that's really crucial because we're getting an extra 50 turns out from our Turvold, which is really cool. Also does an AoE heal of their max HP and heals by a further 2.5% for each turn added or removed from the duration or buffs by this skill. So the main source of this champion is actually the block damage. So it places a block damage buff on all allies for 1 turn and a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. Now, because of the speed that we're going at, this is up at the times that we need it because it's on a 3 turn cooldown and it's just going to work out really solid. But make sure that you're booking this champion to make it work. So we got defense in all battles by 20%. And on this champion, we're running Cruelty. So whenever this champion hits an enemy, decreases their defense until the end of the round and occurs once per hit. If multiple champions have this blessing, still cannot decrease a single champion's defense by 40% or bosses by 20%. So we're getting attack boost and crit damage boost here from the bonuses. And we're getting, because we've got a 4-star blessing, we're getting up to crit damage plus 20% and the extra parts here. So in terms of artifacts, we're just going for speed because this champion is absolutely fast in this team. Crit damage with speed. We've got flat attack, not optimal, but it's obviously for a speed tune. And speed on the boots. We've got attack with a quad roll speed here. What a piece. And then we got crit damage and HP. Overall stats, we've gone 330 speed. 330. Guys, that is just insane. But of course, once you guys can kind of make this work, you're going to have no problems with the clan boss ever again. And as you see here, the way that he's made it work is full out speed sets, right? We're getting the bonus speed from the stats here. And also the substat speed, and that's all he's caring about. Crit rate and crit damage as much as you can get with the speed thresholds, and the rest does not really matter because it's a block damage composition. Masteries, very similar, heading down to the War Master and the defense tree to try and get some counterattacks with Retribution and Deterrence. So that is Demytha, and let's head into the next champion, which is going to be Mashalled. Now, this champion is actually remarkable. So what it comes down to is the A2 ability in Tornado, which can increase your speed by 30% and crit damage by 30% and grants an extra turn, very similar to our Deacon Armstrong, and that is enabling this composition once again. Leads into this open wounds, which can damage increase by 50% against targets that have no buffs, and an A1 that can heal this champion by 30% and attack enemies under leech. On this champion, once again, we're running the Phantom Touch Blessing. And pretty much that's all you need to know about Mashalled. Now, in terms of gear, we've gone for as much damage as possible. So crit rate, crit damage on the gauntlets, attack percent on the boots, attack on the amulet, crit damage, and attack. Overall stats, we've gone for 175 speed, so not fast once again. 35,000 HP, 6,800 attack, 268% crit damage, and what a whopper of a champion. Masteries here. We're flying over here again, guys. War Master down to the bottom, and the defense tree heading down to the counterattack ones once again. So in terms of like speed, guys, so far Deacon Armstrong not super fast, Deacon not super fast, but Demytha is kind of where the main focus is. Now, another speedy champion, but not as fast as Demytha, is Kreela Witcharm. Ally attack champion, really cool for utility. And what it comes down to is the A3 with the War Weirding, which places a 50% increased attack and crit rate, allowing your champions to cap at 70% because she gives you the extra 30%. And also attacks all enemies. Then leads into the Blinding Glow, which is an ally attack ability. So an 80% chance, 100% chance once booked to team up with 3 random allies to attack a random enemy. allies joining the attack will use their default skills. So with her, because she's only bringing 3 of the allies to attack, there is a bit of flexibility in this team because you're kind of banking on her to bring in Turvold for those attacks to reach those 200 million thresholds. And also with this ability here, we haven't got refresh or reflex, should I say, on the gear set, which I kind of highly recommend for optimal damage. So there's definitely wiggle room to kind of improve this a lot more than you're seeing today, with only 5-star gears, a 5-star hurry as well. So an extra 7% extra crit damage to be had. And also the reflex would really boost this up. But we do have refresh accessories, which is a plus. Overall stats here, we've gone for decent attack, 274 speed, decent crit rate, nice crit damage, and we don't really need the accuracy. Masteries, this one's a little bit different. So we're heading down to the War Master, but then we're also going for Cycler Magic and Lasting Gifts to try and extend the value of the crit rate, I'm assuming. But I think mainly Cycler Magic to try and proc those extra ally attacks. So yeah, next champion is going to be Turvold, man of the match as well. And he's an absolute beast. Death Knight's boy. And basically what it comes down to is an A1 for a weaken to coincide with the drop defense of our Deacon Armstrong. We've got an increased attack, increased crit rate, and increased speed on this champion for 2 turns and grants an extra turn. And leads into the Juggernaut ability, which can attack 1 enemy 2 times and damage increases according to the number of buffs on this champion. If the target is killed, resets the cooldowns. Now this champion also has a Phantom Touch blessing. What did Kreela have? Brimstone. Forgot to mention that, guys. So the Smite debuff, dealing a nice bunch of damage. I believe it's 250,000 once it's placed for active skills. But yeah, in terms of this, so to coincide with that, we've actually got one of the Blood Shield rings to add to the extra buff to potentially make that A3 hit harder. And basically same kind of thing, going for as much damage as possible with the speeds. Overall stats, 35,000 HP, 7,300 attack, 500 coming from blessings, 1,600 defense, 210 speed, 76% crit rate, 229% crit damage, and 253 accuracy. Masteries, offense tree heading down to War Master, and the support tree heading down to these ones here. Just trying to get Cycler Magic as well. So that was the gear, the speed, and the masteries, and everything you need to know from what I've kind of learned from first glance anyway, because this isn't my specific team. Don't want to take the credit away from it. But what I'll do is I'll leave a link to Deadwood Jedi in the description below of the actual team itself, if you find it more visually pleasing than just listening to me talk all day. The kind of main components of this team is actually Deacon, Demytha, and Mashalled. But these 2 teams here are DPS slots, so these are really flexible. I think a really solid option would be Brachus the Shifter, because he brings in weaken, he brings in good damage, and he has multiple hits on his A2 or A3. So if I was to build this team personally, I don't have a Turvold, I'd be putting Brachus here. Also, maybe even a Longbeard. I was saying it to Notorious earlier, that I think that Longbeard paired with the Kreela, with a double ally attack with the weaken from Longbeard to coincide with the drop defense, it actually turned out to be a whopper of a team. So let's get into the actual team now. So let's just bring this up. And actually, do you know what? Let's not do the team first. We're going to go to presets, because that's very important for a full auto composition. And to make this full auto, all you have to do is do the opener here and put a second priority on the sweeping retribution and a first priority on the time compression. You guys can see that, yeah? All right, wicked. I just have to make sure, just so if you want to copy this. And then on Turvold here, we're going to be opening up with Crackling Blade, first priority on Juggernaut, and a second priority on Ancestor's Power. Mashalled, we're going to do a first priority and an opener with Tornado, and a second priority on Open Wounds. Then we're going to do opener on War Weirding, but a first priority on Blinding Glow, which is the ally attack ability. And then Demytha, you want to open up with Channel the Bloodline and do a first priority on it. And then you want to do a second priority on Light of Deep. So now we can bring up the team, which we had to catch on Void Affinity. So if you guys did just skip through the video, this works currently on Void. And he did mention to me it works on the Force Affinity as well. because it will go DPS onto Kreela, I'm assuming, which kind of keeps that stun target consistent. But if you're running a non-magic champion, I'm assuming that it could kind of mess up your team, but avoid spirit and magic affinities. Because if you get a stun on any of these key components, your team is going in the bin, pretty much. So, all right, let's get into it. Here we go. So we're going to open up here with the block damage. There we go. There's the weaken, there's the drop defense, and the increased speed of our Mashalled. There we go. Increasing the durations, ally attacks coming out. And it's just really cool to see these compositions. As you guys know, I'm a huge advocate for non-unkillable teams. And teams like this actually make me want to build unkillable now. I've gone 3 years, guys. 3 years on my main account without making an unkillable team. Of course, I've done some for other people behind the scenes for like account takeovers, but man, I really want to make this team with a Brachus, because I love Brachus in this game. And yeah, let me know what you think about this team, guys. Is it something that you're going to be going for in the future? And if you don't really want to go for this team and you just enjoy seeing teams in general, like myself, because this team absolutely blew me away. Yeah, let me know which teams you guys use in the comment section below. Do you use Unkillable? Do you go 2 for 1, 3 to 1? Do you use like the Brognimancers? I'm kind of interested to know what kind of teams you guys do. And this is just a kind of fun team for me to showcase today. But once again, if you missed the shoutouts earlier, big shout out to Notorious for allowing me to showcase this team today. Shout out to ENK for being the first person, I believe, to showcase this. All of his links will be in the description below. And shout out to Scratch, Pavo, Deadwood Jedi, and any other content creator that likes to kind of innovate in the clan boss, I'd say. So, all right, we're just going to kind of let this run. I'll kind of forward it a little bit so you don't see my mug on the screen for the whole time. And we'll see where we take this. And fingers crossed for that 200 million, because it is down to RNG. So, let's get into it. So, all right, guys, we are now at turn count 49. We never got the 200 million. He's basically saying to me that it comes down to the refresh of Kreela. And as you guys seen, we didn't have reflex on her. And because of that, we're not proccing the ally attacks as often. And pretty much that's kind of the downside for that 200 million. But if you guys can up your crit damage stats, up your attack stats, and start putting reflex on champions like Kreela, it would really turn out to be a whopper of a team, which it is. 192 million is impressive, but I'm not going to sit here and make you guys sit for another 20 minutes seeing another run. But look at this, guys. We've got 24 million on Deacon, 74 million on Turvold, Mashalled at 46 million, 34 million on Kreela, and 13 million on Demytha. Just seeing 15 million heals and 17 million heals is just insane, man. But yeah, as I said, guys, once again, reflex on Kreela is really, really solid. Also, getting the RNG of Kreela bringing in Turvold for the ally attacks will lead to that 200 million. But what I will do is, I won't leave you there. I'm just going to bring out his actual team. So this is what he hit yesterday. So this is the team that I seen yesterday, basically. 202 million. And that was basically down to all of those procs from Kreela with the refresh accessories. And if you just want to see a brutal run as well, 231 million. So really consistent there. So I was actually going to show you the Nightmare Clan boss, but it turns out that it's hit Affinity right now, so it's not the best time to show it. But it does work on Ultra Nightmare, Nightmare, and Brutal as long as you're hitting those Void Affinities and the Force Affinities if you've got a Magic DPS, I believe. So yeah, that is going to be all for the video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.